212, mic check. It's your man Brett from the Skateboarding Show, here with another opinion piece to camera, because I'm that narcissistic and arrogant that I think you're actually interested. Right, so a little bit, maybe we're following on from the last one, but by the way, thank you ads from Drawing Boards. Very flattered that you took the time to leave a comment on the video on Instagram, and some very insightful, thoughtful responses to that. I like that, and you very much have got a point about the difference between street spots and skate park spots. I'm here outside a skate park. See that? That's a skate park, and this and that. It has purposefully designed elements in it. Is this a follow-on from that? Kinda. I don't know. It's like a... So I was thinking the other day, I watched a really great 3-part documentary about Picasso. And I've always liked Picasso. And I've always been down for the idea that skateboarding is an art form. I'm definitely down for that. It has sporting elements to it the second that we put it... the second that we create a competition. But you don't have to partake in a competition to partake in skateboarding. You have to partake in a game of football to sort of do football. You can do football training, and you can do skills practice, and you can do general fitness, but all that's done to apply to a game of football. So football exists purely in a competitive element, in a game where you're aiming to win or lose, preferably probably to win, where there's very clearly defined boundaries about how to win. You can do skateboarding just for the point of doing skateboarding, and that is in fact maybe one of the points of it. You are answering that challenge, you are answering that question: what are you going to do when you mix your human form, a skateboard, and some sort of environment, or street environment, or whatever it may be. And just to reiterate, I have love for street skating, I have love for park skateboarding, I have love for video parts, I have love for all these things. These are just ideas because I'm philosophizing and theorizing about skateboarding because I love it and I want to talk about it, and I was reminded to do the thing that you love doing no matter what, and I love talking about, theorizing about skateboarding. So whether these are commercially successful or not, or whether somebody thinks there's supposed to be a point to these, or whether I'm supposed to be giving some sort of education, I'm trying to let go of that, and I'm trying to remember, do what I love doing, so that I do it, so that I've got the motivation to do it. So if these become commercially, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that I'm doing what I love doing. Including standing here in the rain. It's come back again. I thought I'd caught a dry spell. Wait, it's really come back. Wait. Okay, I'm going to have to find somewhere, maybe over here behind this tree. Okay, so, because I don't want all this equipment getting wet and ruined. Right, so, watched a really good thing about Picasso. I have to change arms because now my arm's getting tired. And it reminded me that they showed some of his early work, and by his early work I mean some of his early paintings when he was like 8, 9, 10, all the way through to about 17. And our man Picasso was some sort of actual genius. Like, he was a really good painter straight off. In terms of observational drawing, he could look at something and paint it really well, and paint it so it looked like that thing, which is, I totally get, is not the objective of art. It's not the only objective of art. It's not the only idea of art. But for me, that indicates that he has a skill to do observational drawing, and he has the ability to make something look like he wants it to look. So what I'm getting at with that is, when in his later work, when he didn't make it look like it was, he sort of symbolized it. He sort of brought in Cubist ideas, or maybe even invented Cubism, if I remember rightly, or helped to invent it. When he was dabbling in surrealist stuff, when he was painting stuff that didn't look like that didn't look exactly like the thing that he was painting, that was a choice. That was a choice. He wasn't stuck making those pictures because that's all he could do. That wasn't the only style he had. He knew that he could paint in any style he wanted, If he wanted to make it look realistic, he could do. If he wanted to symbolize it, he could do. If he wanted to paint on one flat plane different perspectives of the object that he was painting, he could do. He was able to make a choice about his artistic representation. Now, to make it fair, I'll only talk about me. In my skateboarding, I cannot make a choice. Well, I can. Okay, I am limited in some of the choices that I can make about my skateboarding. If I went to skate that park, let's take this ledge here, for example, that I'm pointing at, which you can barely see. I know there it is, that ledge there, or the curb behind it, or any other thing, or perhaps you can see the rail behind it as well. Okay, because of now, see, there is a thing. Okay, so I make a choice to not learn every single different trick possible, and then therefore be able to make a free choice as to what trick I'm going to do. I mean, I don't necessarily want to say I'm limited, because that makes it sound again like I'm sort of like, I'm not fishing for compliments, far from it. Again, I'm theorizing and philosophizing about skateboarding. I'm saying that there's a difference between having so much ability that you can genuinely make a free choice about what trick you want to do, and being limited within your ability, and therefore it not being so much of a free choice. So absolutely, skateboarding is an art form, but unlike some of the other art forms that exist, because it has a very strong physical element to it, and some might say, and I think I would definitely say, a sort of courageous element to it, and a very strong, challenging physical element to it. Yeah, both of those two things, a physical ability element and a courage element. Some people, completely understandably, are limited in their choice that they can make about the tricks that they can perform. Again, there's no real point to that, but as I'm saying it, it's helping me to understand a little bit that there is more choice than I think, actually, because I could take the time to learn more tricks. I could take the time to learn, to expand my trick portfolio, so that I have a broader breadth of choice of things that I could do on my skateboard. I think that's really quite critical. Everything's getting wet, that's why I'm just wiping it. Whee, that hasn't helped at all. Whee, there we go. So choice is important, because choice is important in art. That's the whole idea. Art isn't just a tick box exercise of things you can do. It is a free, artistic, creative choice. That's what makes it creative. There we go. That's what we're getting at, isn't it? Is it truly freely creative if you're limited by your ability about the things you can do? I don't think Picasso was limited by his ability, because his ability was so broad that he could sit himself anywhere on that ability range and make a free creative choice. How many people, like, wow, okay, maybe like, see, wow, that's why Rodney Mullen was doing stuff 31 years ago that people still aren't doing today. They're still not doing it. There's lines in virtual reality, questionable, and secondhand smoke that people are still not able to replicate today. And they're almost sort of throwaway lines. You know, he didn't I'm not sure how long he filmed for to do that stuff, but I get the impression he was just like, let's just go down the car park and we'll just film some stuff, right? I mean, he's talking about some of this stuff in Hawk versus Wolf at the moment, but like the Casper slide stuff and the sliding on the trucks on the side stuff, that is creative because he has such ability and such freedom of choice that he can choose to do something completely different to what other people do. He can choose to say, I'm going to slide on the wrong side of my board. I'm going to slide on the side of my board, on the trucks in the primo position, because I know that I have that much ability that if I choose to do that, I can do that. Not really as a statement of arrogance, but as a statement of creative ability. The creative ability to say, I've got an idea. Hey, this will be good. Check this out. I'm gonna flip it like a quarter, not even a half, or I'm gonna flip it 1 1/4, and I'm gonna land it primo and slide on that, and then whoop, whiz it out, and jobs are good and ride away. Brilliant. and not at like trickle speed either. Oh no, he's going at that. He's going at that at a fair rate because he knows he can do it, because he knows his ability is that broad that he has free creative reign over what he chooses to do on his skateboard. Do you know who else I think does this? Right, I think Jordan Thackeray and Alex Halford do it. And I saw it a little bit Sunday. I saw it quite a bit Sunday at Spit and Sawdust, and I know I'm biased, but my man Harry and Chaz and Jack Foster to a point, and Joss from TR7's really improved. It's really amazing. To the point where those guys just deal with whatever's in front of them with a free, creative, artistic choice, because their ability is that much that they're not fazed by whatever's put in front of them. They're not fazed by whatever obstacle they're hurtling towards. There was no bit of that park that they didn't touch. I saw Harry take a run round at one point where he was just hitting up stuff because it looked like it was just because it was in front of him, and was able to do something on all of it. Stuff that was pretty good, that for most people would consider pretty amazing. For him, he was just sort of cruising. There was free creative choice because of the breadth of ability that was available. And for me, I don't have that breadth of ability, so I don't have such a wide creative choice that I can make, and I'm okay with that's okay, because I'm only going to talk about myself, because it's not fair to talk about other people. I'm just putting that forward as an idea. I'm just putting that forward as a philosophical point to ponder on. The real deal is to go out and do some skateboarding, and maybe for me to broaden that breadth of creative choice. So just a philosophical meandering about the idea of creativity in skateboarding, and are we as creative as we think, or are we limited by our ability? There you go. I mean, that's 12 and a half minutes when I've just summed it up in one sentence, so sorry about that. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? I kept you here for 12 and a half minutes when I'm asking the question, do we have actual creative freedom, or are we limited by our ability? Maybe maybe we're not. Maybe you can put forward some good points either way, and we can open up some nuanced intellectual dialect and dialectical conversation where we search for the truth through logical reasoning discussion. That's what dialectics are. Thank you very much for joining me this far, and in the great words of Jeff Grosso, turn this off and go skateboarding, and see you later. But not in the wet. Don't go and do it in the wet. It's a rubbish idea. That is a rubbish idea. Wait till it's dry, then go skateboarding. It's far better. Right, thank you all. See you later. Bye.